I should probably put on the Discord here that we are talking about the election now. Oh, shit. Well, you guys can probably all see this. It's great. Just trying to get the goddamn friggin' key or the, here we go. Stream URL. Bam, bam. Okay, let's post her on the Discord. Hold on a sec, buddy. I'll answer your question. I'm just posting on Discord here. I hope this is it. Who knows? Oh, no, I don't think that's the link. What a guy. There you go. Thank you, Steel City Gator. Okay, perfect. Now... okay, perfect. We are live. So I've got the CBC pulled up, and let's start out here. Hello, welcome to Election Day. You're gonna ask me who do I want to win. Honestly, I just hope Trudeau doesn't get a majority. I hope the Conservatives don't get a majority either. My ideal scenario would be an NDP majority or minority government, but I live in reality. I know that. Thanks, buddy. I have actually lost some weight, but I live in reality. I know they're almost certainly not going to win tonight. So my ideal scenario is that Justin Trudeau returns with a reduced minority, and it's enough basically to have the party turf him as leader, because the results we're seeing tonight basically to me indicate that the status quo seems like it's going to remain, and it's going to be a liberal majority, or sorry, minority more rather, not majority. So it's great to be back and doing this is actually my first election live stream ever. I've always wanted to do one. I've always wanted to do an election live stream. I should zoom out here because we're not just looking at Atlantic Canada anymore. Nice, we got some results from Western Canada coming in as well. Sorry I got to this a little bit late, everybody, but I couldn't start until my kid had gone to sleep, so, you know, it is what it is. So she's med, and it's at least I got to the part where actual results are coming in. I didn't have to stand here, or I guess rather sit here, and just go on and on and on for hours about how, you know, what's going on and like what I think's going to happen, and like just try and fill the time in. At least we're going to be going right out of the gate here. Yeah, this is pretty off the cuff. Like I said, I've always wanted to do an election stream, so I figure the first one might be for my own home country. So I'm going to crack open a beer here. So there we go. Cheers. I'm drinking a Burton Ale. It's called the Grasshopper. It's yes, I did vote. So anyway, yeah, I'm just happy, like I said, I don't have to fill the time. But I'm happy. I've got some people coming in here. I am really happy you're joining me today. I'm actually really happy to be talking about a subject close to my heart, Canadian politics. And I'm happy that even if you're not a Canadian, you know, come on in. I'd love to tell you about what's going on if there's some interest. So here we go. Okay, wow. Okay, well, man, I can explain, I guess, the values of everybody, but let's go into maybe some of the things that are happening. Maybe let's talk about the actual campaign, and we'll see what's happening right now. So I've got the CBC. This is the live election results. I got a couple different. I've got a couple different ones pulled up. In fact, I've got global here. We've got McLean's as well. And then I also have a couple other resources we can use throughout the day. But I'm just using the CBC for now. It's the most, non-controversial mainstream source, whatever you want to say. So we'll go with them for now. So right now we're at the point where the vote has just finished. The polls have just closed by and large across most of the country, but we're only seeing sort of preliminary results. The polls in Atlantic Canada closed approximately 2 hours ago, and with that you can kind of get an inclination what may be happening in the rest of the country. So I guess I'll start there because they are the most firm results that we have right now. So in Atlantic Canada, things have pretty much been the status quo. The only changes we have, at least here, sorry, this is Newfoundland and Labrador. The only changes we have right here is the Conservatives are leading in one riding. They've been locked out of Newfoundland and Labrador for, I believe, the last 2 elections at least. It may have been more than that. And also the NDP are losing their seat in St. John's. It looks like this was formerly a New Democrat seat, but it's not over yet. What is this? Well, it's not looking good for Mary here, unfortunately. But so it looks like the Liberals will pretty much pan out in Atlantic Canada as they did in the last election. I think they may pick up, excuse me, a couple seats here and there. But if you're doing well anywhere, it looks like they're doing pretty well in New Brunswick, which is to be expected. This is definitely the most conservative of all the Atlantic provinces. Look, actually, they picked up 2. Wow, the seat just flipped here in Fredericton. This is an interesting story. This is going to be like I said, this is my first real election stream, so it's going to be a little bit meandering. Going to be kind of going all over the place, so sorry if I'm not 100% always on topic or always on point. But interesting story with this riding, Jessica Atwin actually ran as a Green and won in the 2019 election. However, with the recent Green Party infighting, she switched sides to the Liberals. And we'll see. I'm actually very interested to see how this riding will turn out. Obviously, it doesn't look like the Greens have been doing too well without her. But she may lose this riding after walking the floor. That's what we call that. Sorry, crossing the floor. Not walking the floor. No, it's not like walking the plank. But crossing the floor, more rather, is what I meant to say. So anyway, that's at one to watch. But I think, yeah, it looks like they picked up 1 seat. 2. Oh, actually, wow. They picked up a couple seats. I didn't expect them to pick up so many seats in Nova Scotia. And this is something I wanted to talk about in sort of the pre-election show if I had to fill time. But I'll wait. I guess I'll fill my time now. I don't have to fill as much of it before we go into chats and everything like that. But I do just want to talk a little bit about what led up to this election, because there was an election here in Nova Scotia which took everybody by surprise, and what is called the Progressive Conservative Party in Nova Scotia ended up winning and beating the incumbent Liberal Party. And it was a shock, upset, in fact. I've got some of the, this is our current projection from the site I like to use the most, which is 338 vote federal projection. So this is just the federal projection for what 338 predicts will happen in the election. But I wanted to click on this one here. If it'll load, here we go. The Nova Scotia 2001 general election, August 17th, 2021. In this election, as you can see the election results, the Progressive Conservative Party beat the Liberal Party by 2 points, and absolutely none of the polls prior to this election were predicting that. Closest here was Main Street, which had the Liberals up by 2 points. But in the end, it ended up being a surprise Progressive Conservative majority. And the Progressive Conservatives basically won the consensus, the political consensus, or whatever you want to say, is that they won because the Progressive Conservative Party leader ran a very progressive campaign for a conservative. Like, he really embraced the progressive part of that party title, and he ran a very left-wing campaign for a conservative, and apparently that really resonated. So I think the current conservative leader is trying to kind of emulate that and trying to get a surprise election result like that. I think that this kind of his strategy going into this election. So, panning out back to reality, how did that pan out? It looks like they actually may have picked up a couple seats. I should look. I have the 2015 election. Sorry, this is the 2019. My bad. The election results here, and they were shut out. I forgot they were shut out of Nova Scotia last time. I thought they gained 1 seat in Nova Scotia, but I was wrong. So anyway, the Conservatives are actually doing better than I thought in Nova Scotia. Let's go back here. They're so far picked up 3 seats in the province, and yeah, this one is a close race. The Liberals have flipped back into the lead. So, going over to PEI, the Liberals have shut out the Conservatives and everyone else in PEI. I think they almost always do this. I cannot remember the last time the another party besides the Liberals won a seat in Prince Edward Island. So, I haven't had a chance really to look at these results besides just kind of seeing these bars swinging back and forth. And it's like, what do we have here? We've got 7 polls reporting. We've got 1 poll reporting. We've got 1 poll. So yeah, these are still very, very preliminary results, it looks like. So, well, we got lots going on here in Winnipeg. But anyway, I think this will be a good time because... So basically, let me wrap up my sort of pre-election prediction based on the results that we're seeing right now. What I'm feeling like it's going to be is a Liberal reduced minority, but obviously we're going to see. I think the entire election, as all Canadian elections, runs right through these 2 provinces right here, Ontario and Quebec. So basically, we'll see what happens. If it's the status quo, the Bloc Québécois and the Liberals will divide most of the seats in Quebec evenly. And in last election, we'll go back here. You see the Liberals did very well, winning 79 seats. So if the Conservatives are going to make any gains, they've got a lot of ground they could potentially gain here in Ontario. But we'll see. Apparently, Doug Ford ain't doing so well over there. He's not very well liked. So we'll see if that has any indication on how the people in Ontario will vote. So anyway, with that out of the way, we'll see what happens. Let's see if I can get some chats here. Man, we got a lot going on. See if I can answer some people while we see what's going to happen. All right. Yeah, well, I would hope all nations are free of authoritarianism. Yeah, I think that there'll probably be a stable government that's formed. Yeah, I know that's what to Billy Bob. It's weird seeing the Liberals as red and the Conservatives as blue. My wife is American, as I may have mentioned, and she said the same thing. She's like, "What? Why is it different?" I don't know. In fact, actually, most of the world, the Liberals are red and the Conservatives are blue. For whatever reason, America just has to be a contrarian. Why are they called ridings? That's a great question. It's probably some sort of British tradition. There you go. I haven't completely predicted. Yeah, I haven't completely predicted this election's outcome. No, but I'm not going to tell you I'm some political pundit or magister. I have opinions for sure. I certainly like to vocalize those opinions. But I think people are a little bit too wound up about politics these days. I want it to be a pretty chill stream that we have today. I'm not, I've got to, I'll always have a political dog in the fight. But I'm not gonna, I want to keep the emotions down for the most part. I will be a little bit sad if Trudeau wins a majority, but that's about it. The Green Meme Party, yeah, they collapsed big time. Yeah, I know that's definitely a big difference between the Canadian system and the American system, which is that the ruling party can call an election whenever they see fit. It's basically well, they can snap their fingers and decide, it's most advantageous to us, so we're going to go to the polls, which is what I feel like Trudeau did in this particular election, that he decided that he was going to snap his fingers and be like, okay, we're going to the polls. I think I've got the advantage. So let's see if it pans out, and we'll see if it pans out for him. From my personal point of view, I think that the election is a complete waste of time and money. It did not need to be called whatsoever, and Trudeau has done a terrible job in the messaging around why we needed to have this campaign in the first place. He'll bring up weird things like the government was obstructionist, like even though the NDP pretty much would support the vast majority of his policy proposals. But I personally believe that the simple explanation for why he called the election is that he thought there was blood in the water and that he could strike and that he would be able to get his majority back. So we'll see what ends up happening. To the German election at all, I actually have not been paying attention to the German election at all. But yeah, I would be interested to see what's happening in Germany. Isn't Merkel finally stepping down or something like that? He's finally handing it, packing it in, and putting away. What do you want to say? Throwing in the towel. That's it. Not handing in the towel. Why am I getting my weird cliches messed up today? Yes, it's true that mail-in ballots haven't been counted yet, but we will see, of course. Those are supposed to be counted tomorrow. Excuse me, guys. I've got a little bit of a stuffed nose and cold going on, so that might come through, but I'm totally fine. Don't worry. In any case, yes, the mail-in ballots haven't been counted. I don't know how much of a difference those will make. We'll see. I've been reading mixed things. Like people have been saying that the mail-in ballots have not been as numerous as they thought they would be, but things like advanced votings have been through the roof. So we will see what happens, and it'll be interesting to see if they make any kind of difference. But I feel like in this election they won't make a huge difference, because we've seen in other provincial elections that have happened so far throughout Canada during the pandemic, the mail-in voting hasn't made a big enough difference where they weren't able to call a winner fairly quickly. But then again, all those elections have been rather decisive. So at the end of the day, who knows? This could be it could be a deadlock, right? We could not know who's going to clearly have, if there's going to be a majority clearly or not, or a minority, or if even one party is going to have a plurality of seats. That's always a word I have trouble with. So yes, I do want to talk a little bit about what the predictions are for the race. Looks like we're still having, like when we go in here, like this riding only has 60 of 223 polls reporting, when they were a little bit faster than some of the other ridings, because I think they're in a different time zone. Like when you compare them to the other nearby ridings, they haven't had quite as much time. So yeah, still doesn't look like we're having any like real overwhelming results out of anywhere. So we will still have to sit and wait and see what happens. So let me talk a little bit then about the predictions and about the nature of the campaign, if you'll allow me to. So this is, like I said, the site that I like to use, 338, as my go-to resource for polling. I'm hoping you guys can see the screen and everything like that. Yeah, it looks like the screen is coming through very, very clearly. So everything looks good. So basically, what pollsters have been predicting is a dead heat. However, the way that this will work out is that the Liberals will gain significantly more seats. If we scroll down, we'll see even if they're tied, they will the Conservatives will gain less seats, most likely, than the Liberals. And in fact, in the 2019 election, the Conservatives won the popular vote in comparison to the Liberals. So there's the Conservatives can still win the popular vote, and they may win the popular vote tonight, but they can still not form even a minority government with the popular vote. So it's the reason this is because liberal support is basically more evenly distributed throughout the country, whereas a lot of conservative support is stacked here in provinces like mine, in Alberta, in Saskatchewan, in Manitoba, where there will be, we'll look at some of those ridings tonight where we'll see like crazy conservative numbers. They'll be like Saddam Hussein, like 90% conservative going ridings. And unfortunately for the conservatives, that just basically means that their vote in the first past the post system is not as efficient. It doesn't matter if you blow out Alberta when it doesn't have as many seats as Ontario and Quebec. So that's the reason why the Liberals will probably end up getting more seats, even if the Conservatives actually end up winning the vote. But let's look at some of the polls going up into the election here, see what the polls have been predicting. We'll talk about them. So the main thing that seems to be really shaking up this campaign at the very tail end of things is the PPC. These are some crazy friggin' numbers I'm seeing. Like Ecos having them in double digits. Like if this poll, Ecos hasn't been very good. I think they're one of the poor Canadian pollsters. But if this poll is anything indication what we're like to see tonight, it'll be a Liberal majority for sure. I would personally be shocked if we saw PPC numbers this high. If we saw PPC numbers in double digits tonight, I will be very surprised. That would be very surprising to me. I think that we're probably they're already doing better than they did last election, but I think we're going to see closer to a 4 or 5, maybe 6%. But excuse me, that has been a real confounding factor. If we go back, we can see that they were pretty much a non-issue at the start of the campaign. Or we go down where the campaign is called. This is where the Conservatives were surging at a brief moment in the limelight. Here we can actually kind of tell the story of the election. Some of these, like, before the election was called Liberal Party plus 12%. Then they had some weird one-off where the Conservative Party is leading. But because like I said, the Liberals can win by 35% of the vote and still get a majority. So if they're anywhere in the mid-30s number, they're in striking distance of a majority government. So at the start, basically they call the campaign, and then the polls start to close up very quickly, and you can kind of see those numbers closing up here, starting to see the Conservatives +1, +2, +3, and then you'll go up, and then there was a brief moment where it looked like Erin O'Toole was going to form a majority government and become the King of Canada. And then after the debates kind of took the wind out of his sails when I don't exactly know what it was. I personally thought he did what he needed to do at those debates, which was not convey that he was a crazy person, like basically not act like because Canadians have very low tolerance for crazy social right-wing conservatives. So basically, as long as he could convince enough Canadians that he wasn't that, he did what he basically needed to do in the debates. And I thought he did that pretty much. But what I think is happening instead is that he has swung the Conservative Party too far to the left, and this has given breathing room for the People's Party of Canada to kind of eat his lunch a little bit. So that is one of the real swing factors I'm looking for in this election. How much will the PCC be able to eat the Conservatives' lunch? Are we going to see, like I said, I'll be very surprised if we see numbers like 10%. But even like 5%, that's substantial. Going to my home party, my boy, and my home party at the NDP, I really thought we would capitalize on the anti-Trudeau sentiment for starting this election. I really thought like there was a moment where the Conservatives the Liberals and NDP were like very, very close, like 5 points of one another, and I thought like, wow, we can actually do this. We can actually overtake them. Unfortunately, I don't think Jagmeet did what he needed to do at the debate. I think the debate kind of took the wind out of his sails tonight. So I'll be happy if the NDP pick up seats. I'll be very happy. Unfortunately, I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but my fingers are crossed for sure. So yeah, I guess that kind of brings the story of the election the best I can sum it up in a limited period of time. So let's see if we can go back to our results here. See if we got anything more definitive. And a lot of other places have called this riding for the Conservatives. I saw on the Discord, someone had posted, I think one of my mods posted a tweet basically saying that had been called for the Conservatives. But we'll see. Let's read some of the chats. Let's see what's going on. The Green parties actually stand a chance in Germany. That is surprising to me. That is very shocking, actually. But then again, I actually heard that the Green Party did very well in like Austria recently. Maybe this was a while ago. This might have been a while ago, like 2017, 2018. I hope it's a JM coalition in Germany. Who are the JM? In terms of how are the NDP doing right now, we have a popular vote counter here. Not very well, unfortunately. Like, this is not a number I want to see from the NDP. 16.6% is very sad. The Greens are collapsing. It looks like the PPC will overtake the Greens as Canada's fringe party after this election. They're like I said, if this number does actually start to rise, I will be surprised. But like I was saying, we're probably going to see like a 4 or 5, maybe high 6 or 7%. But it'll be interesting to see how things shake out over in my home province of Alberta. I wonder if we have any preliminary results. The polls have closed. Oh, it looks like we do have some results here in Edmonton. I'll go over my home city of Edmonton a little bit. So the ridings in Edmonton are almost all going to go Conservative, except for this one here, Edmonton Strathcona. So you can see that Heather McPherson is the NDP Conservative MP there, but all the other ridings are held by Conservatives in the city. However, Edmonton Centre is a swing riding. These two guys have been going at it. In 2015, Randy Boissonnet, there you go, won the riding. And then in 2019, James Cummin came in, and I was trying to come up with some sort of joke, but the jokes make themselves up. But anyway, he came all over his face and won the riding. So we're going to see if this one flips back to the Liberals or if James will hold on to his seat. But other than that, I don't expect the other parties to make very many gains here in Alberta. We may see a Liberal pickup in Calgary. This one right here, Calgary Skyview, does have a chance of going Liberal. I also believe that there is a Calgary, this one here, Calgary Centre, may have a chance of going Liberal too. I believe it's Calgary Centre, or at least one of these ridings here. I'm not sure if it's Calgary Confederation or Calgary Centre, but I think one of those may have a chance of going Liberal. Everywhere else, though, in Alberta will stay firmly Conservative, in my opinion. BC is also going to be a very interesting, my previous home province of British Columbia will be a very interesting one to watch as well. It's considered to be a tight three-way race. The Conservatives always do well in these regions, these interior regions of British Columbia, except for down here where Dick, why don't they have a photo of Dick or Richard Canning's? I don't know if you guys remember, but way back in the day, when I think it was like playing Metro or something, playing one of those Let's Plays, I mentioned that I was volunteering for NDP candidate in the provincial election, and that was actually Dick Canning's, who went on to lose that election, as I went and told you guys, but then went on to actually win the federal election in that area and become the federal MP, and he's been the federal MP there since 2015. Really good guy. Can't say enough good things about him. He's like the kind of guy you want in politics. He comes from like an environmental background. He's a bird scientist. Just really smart guy. And yeah, not like some lawyer or doctor or some other kind of person that seems to dominate the political field these days. So anyway, so besides that area, the Conservatives will do well in the interior. The NDP will do well on the coast here, and then in kind of the wealthy core, I expect the Liberals to do well. Well, it looks like we've already got a couple seats declared here, interestingly. Wow, they've already declared that the Conservative defeats Liberal in Pound Sound Muskoka. Sorry, Parry Sound Pound Sound. Sorry, Parry Sound Muskoka. But forevermore, this will be known as Pound Sound Muskoka. Surprising that they would declare that one early. What it's over here. Con defeats the Bloc Québécois. That is surprising. When it comes to Quebec, I've been talking. We have a prominent Quebec. What do I say? I don't want to say like activist, but somebody who's very interested, who lives in Quebec, is interested in Canadian politics. And I've been discussing with him how things are going in Quebec, and his estimation is things will pretty much be the status quo. But we will see. Right now, it looks like the Bloc have actually lost one seat, and with only 45% of the polls reporting. That is a pretty substantial lead there, 56%. So yeah, another one to watch. Going back to Fredericton, looks like the Conservatives are opening up a small lead here over the floor walker, and the map has crashed. This is very unfortunate. There we go. Okay, we're back. We're back, everybody. Okay, we take a quick break. Take a quick take a quick chat break, take a quick drink break, and then we'll go from there. Oh, Jamaican Coalition. Okay. Means the CDU and the... Okay. I gotcha. That's interesting. Are you from Albertistan? Sure am. I'm proud Albertistanian, no. But it is a good province. It gets a bad name. And, there are definitely some real friggin' beauties out here in this province. Holy smokes. That's 10 out of 10 French. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. How's the Canadian Syndicalist Party looking? Hope for some big wins up there. PCC gets one riding. I'll be happy. I'll be shocked if they get a riding. It's still, I think, too early to tell. I mean, a lot of these, like, it says the Conservatives are down by 8, by 3. Like, this is going to flip throughout the night, so I'm not putting too much stock in this yet. I am looking to see some of these ridings which have been declared already. Like I said, we have over here, this one, the Conservatives taking a seat away from the Bloc. And they also have another, what is this? Is this a Bloc hold? No, this is a Bloc defeats Liberal riding here. That's interesting. Things are heating up in Quebec, but yeah, it's still too early to tell. What we have been able to tell firmly from the results in Atlantic Canada, it looks like the Conservatives will make some small gains in Atlantic Canada, particularly in New Brunswick, though, but managing to bite out a few seats in Nova Scotia. So it doesn't look like the massive Conservative wave happened in the Atlantic provinces like I'm sure they were hoping it would, but they definitely were able to make some gains, so that's good for him. The real question is if because Erin O'Toole has been moving his party to the left, the question is, will it hurt him here and here? Will that move leftward actually hurt his party in the West, where they are very conservative over here, not so much in Edmonton, but out here. And like I said, we're going to look at some of these ridings when we get some results in, and you'll see some crazy conservative numbers, but maybe we'll see some crazy PCC numbers. Who knows? But if his leftward swing actually ends up really hurting him, we could see maybe the PCC win a seat out here in Alberta. I'd be surprised. I'm not sure what Maxime Bernier's, I wish I would have looked it up, original seat was. I think it's in. I think it's in Quebec. Well, obviously it's in Quebec, but I mean Quebec City. I'm sure someone's like yelling at me in the chat. We'll go back and I'll go back and check. Yeah, it's okay. I'm happy. Like I'm hoping I could just give you guys like some information about Canadian politics. I'm happy you guys are joining me and talking about this with me. I'm very passionate about politics in general and Canadian politics. And even if you're not interested in the politics of my country, I'm hoping that I can enlighten you a little bit, because it's very interesting. It's a massive country, both ethnically and geographically diverse. So it's a beautiful place, and the politics of it can be quite interesting. Let's see if we can go up and see some of the popular vote tallies. They have not changed very much since we last checked. The Greens just collapsing. Just collapsing. Which seat are they leading in? What seat are the Greens leading in? I want to know. I want to know. Oh well. It's probably over here in Victoria. I'm assuming it's Elizabeth May's seat. Oh no, they haven't. They have not announced any results for her seat yet. So yeah, and also just remember, like, these numbers down here, these aren't definite, right? These are still leading, but these are not necessarily elected seats that they have won. This is why we're seeing it switch so often. So yeah, just like I said, that's why I said, like, even though it says the Conservatives are down 6, I don't know and the Liberals are up 5. I don't know if that's what it's going to be when it all shakes out. All right. Well, yeah, things are slowly coming in, and we'll see how things go. Maybe I should tell the story. Yeah, Hillary Clinton will be prime minister in the morning. The one nice thing about this country is when I voted today, I did not use a voting machine. We still have paper ballots, and I hope to God that we never stop using paper ballots. I've been a part of the election process in this country before, as part of the nuts and bolts of it. I have a great deal of faith in our election system. I think it's one of the most secure election systems ever invented, and part of the reason why is because we have paper ballots that are physically there, and you could easily have a trail. And I think it's a great system. So I don't think we're gonna have any kind of crazy, weird upsets. I should talk about I'll talk a little bit about my 2020 election night, because that was a weird, crazy night for me. So I guess while we're waiting for results to come in, we'll do a little bit of story time. But let's just see if I can have any other good chats I can read here. No. The NDP is big time. No, they're like the Social Democratic Party of Canada. The People's Party of Canada is actually the super conservative party, which is very weird. That I could not think of like a dumber name to name the party, because everybody thinks like you're a communist party when he says the People's Party of Canada. But anyway. But my belief that the Liberals keep their majority, Conservatives with the BBC, Apex me for Reading, Green falls off cliff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think will happen as well. But anyway, back to story time. So, I'm in my den here, my office or whatever, and I have my computer open. I'm using my wife's computer that's over here. There's like another monitor over here. I've got like a phone. I've got like a tablet. I'm watching like 15 different streams at the same time. I'm like looking up results, and I'm like, I'm like super into this. And like I'm listening to left wing streams. I'm listening to right wing streams. I'm listening to mainstream, like alternative, anything, any information I can get my hands on about what is happening. I'm like listening to it, and like I've got all the lights off in this room, and I'm just like sitting like glued to the screen, like watching like 15 different screens. My wife comes in She like opens the door. It's completely dark with just screens illuminating everywhere. And I'm like, go away, because like I was like really heated up, I guess, because this was like when the results were coming in and things were looking like it was gonna like at the beginning of the election, it seemed like Donald Trump was going to win again. At least that's what I was predicting at the start, and I was getting worried. But obviously that is not what panned out. But I was like, at that time, I was like, oh my God, this is it's happening again. It's happening all again. And I was like, get out. But yeah, that was my 2020 elections campaign story. Just I was very high strung that night. And I remember going to sleep, and I did not sleep very well. It was a very disturbed sleep that night. But anyway, actually, I ended up turning okay. So it was all for nothing. All my anxiety was for nothing. But the one thing that the one thing I just remember, CBC News predicts a liberal government. Wow, that was fast. But how much of a liberal government? Because I mean, what do we? Let's look at some other sources here. Real time. Global news is not helping me very much. Maclean's, what are you saying, Maclean's? Results from the Canadian press. They have not declared anything yet either. Very interesting. Okay, but obviously they have not projected whether that government will be a majority or minority government, so we shall see. But I feel that may be a bit of an early projection there, CBC. I tried to get rid of you. You just keep coming back. Will it keep coming back? No, okay. But yeah, like I said, I think that they may be jumping the gun a little bit too early on that one. But it is looking like the Liberals will maintain the majority of the seats, so they may be right in that sense, but what it will come down to is whether or not they get a majority or a minority, which is pretty much the entire question of the election. Wow, Conservatives get defeated by the NDP. That's a good pickup. That's good. What do we got here? Bloc defeats Liberal. 45% of the vote. Go here. Okay, Liberal defeats Bloc. So I'm only clicking on the ones here which have been fully highlighted, because these are the ones which have been decided here. We have another Bloc Québécois defeating a Liberal. So if we go here, I think we already looked at this one, or did we? Yeah, we did. Good old pound sound. Okay, here are some, or this, is this Saskatchewan? No, this is Manitoba. It's difficult to tell when you're zoomed in, and they all look like big squares. So yeah, now we can see. Remember when we started this stream, it was like the Liberals were +7, the Conservatives were like -3, or sorry, like -7. The New Democrats, though, it looks like we are going to pick up a couple seats, which is very good. I'm very happy to see that. So let's go up to the popular vote totals. Still not much change, though the Liberals are falling down in that popular vote total bit by bit. Yeah, Canadian elections definitely can be interesting. Yeah, I know. Sorry, that's one of the things I totally got off track when I wanted to say, like, that's one of the things I really felt about the American election. Like, it was just maximized to, like, create anxiety on all sides. Like, it was just, like, just pumping everybody up with anxiety because it's, like, such a roller coaster. It's like, oh, like I remember as soon as like the election started, like the first one of the first states that like lit up was like Kentucky, and it was like Joe Biden's leading by like 1,000 votes or something like that. And like one of the streams, like I was watching, I can't remember which one. Everyone's like, Joe Biden landslide, it's happening, we're gonna crush him. It's like, you're not gonna win Kentucky. It's not gonna happen. So does Canadian do coalition governments? Yes, we do coalition governments. In fact, we had a coalition government, and it collapsed. Yeah, the PPC is a new party. How is the French party doing? They're doing Frenchy. Yeah, they do have a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, I do think by and large, I do think some of the responses to the pandemic have been overreaches for sure. I don't think there's any question about that. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter which party you vote for because none of them are changing it. Man. So let's see if we can get anything else here. Yeah, we can see the Toronto core. This is a Liberal stronghold. This will probably remain a Liberal stronghold. We see maybe the NDP will pick up a couple seats in Toronto. That would be nice. Or sorry, in the GTA area. That would be really nice. But again, oh, it's Kitchener that the Greens are leading in. Let's see that. How are they doing? Okay, we only have 2 polls reporting. Good old Mike. Sorry. I don't want to roast some of these pictures, but holy smokes, this is a shady picture. Like, he's literally shaded. He's literally in shade. But based on that picture alone, I'd vote for him. Yeah, the PPC has 0 seats, and I'll be shocked if they gain any seats. So the bloc, the bloc will basically, they will promote whatever interest is in the interest of Quebec, basically. Though politically, when you put them on like the political compass spectrum, the bloc always tends to be very, very left. They do have very left-wing policies. So they generally don't tend to side with the Conservatives. They very rarely will side with Conservatives. Michael looks like he's fully green. Oh my God, the PCC is leading in one riding. Which riding? Is it in Alberta? All right, they've already called a couple. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. What am I doing? Why am I saying that? When it says defeats con, where the? Oh my God! Why? I fucked it up, guys. Sorry. Every time I thought when I said NDP defeats con, I always think it's a pickup. Sorry, guys. I really fucked that up. That's my bad. Now, yeah. So she's incumbent. So these are probably incumbent ridings coming in. So that's why I'm getting confused. So I'm like. So I'm thinking we're picking up seats, but we're really not. All right. Sorry, don't want to. I shouldn't have too much silence here, but I'm just kind of clicking around. Look at this one. This one's really tightening up here in Fredericton between Liberals and Conservatives. Conservatives leading by only 38 votes. And yeah, what are they thinking? Okay, they only picked up once. They did have a seat in Nova Scotia. God damn it. What is wrong with me? So I was right this whole time. Okay, so but they did pick up 2. They did pick up 2 seats in Nova Scotia. All these are conservative incumbents. actually, never mind. The Conservatives only have really picked up maybe 2 seats in the Atlantic provinces. I thought they picked up a little bit more than that. Either way, we shall see what goes on. Yeah, he was incumbent. Fuck. Sorry about that, guys. I feel like an idiot. But anyway, so long story short, the status quo is largely maintaining. What does McLean? There we go. They are projecting. The McLean's now projecting a Liberal government as well. But now that we have that cleared up, I will know to make sure that I look for who's actually the incumbent that's won and who's not the incumbent. Yeah, you can afford decent photographs for the politicians. There are some rough photographs in here, and we will see them. Yeah, I know. The PPC, I think of the weapons from BattleTech. The orange is definitely an underrated political color. I agree with that statement. Yeah. Well, I think it all depends on if the Liberals are going to form a majority government, because that is the real question. How many, let's go back here. Yeah, sorry, they did win 1 seat. Missed that one sad seat. So anyway, going back to the last election, Justin Trudeau won 157 seats. How many is he leading in currently? 145. And yeah, it is pretty like it is probably going to be a Liberal government, but again, we don't know exactly what type of Liberal government we are going to have. Okay, they are not calling this one yet, but it's probably due to mail-in voting. Did they call St. John's yet for Liberals? No, they still haven't called St. John's yet. But the thing is, though, like people are saying it's already over, but the thing is, though, that I feel like if Trudeau wasted all this time, all this money, all this effort just to get a reduced minority government, I don't know if he can stay on as the Liberal leader. I know Justin Trudeau has joined us in the chat currently, and he's probably I don't know if he's happy with the results quite yet. Because I don't think he got what he truly wanted, but we will see. Monarchists, yes, God bless the Queen. God bless the Queen. Yeah, I know. It's one of the only places where we do have kind of like regional parties. Well, I mean, then again, we have like I guess there's like the Basques party and then there's like Irish parties in the UK, but we do have like a national party, and I think it's quite interesting. Like I kind of think it's like a really good protest vote for them. It's like a protest vote to all the federal parties to be like, you know what, fuck you guys. You guys didn't step up to the plate for us. You can try again later. But yeah, Quebec has always done its own thing. So yeah, they are very proud to be Quebec, and I loved it in that debate watching Blanchette come up there and be like, man, Quebec is the greatest, and just his passion for Quebec actually made me really like, man, this Quebec place sounds really freaking awesome. Maybe I should move there. It sounds really great, but I really wish we had a politician who was as passionate about Canada as a whole as he was about Quebec. That would be really nice. So looking at the vote share, we can see that the Conservatives have picked up a couple points. The Liberals have come down. So I think, well, I wonder if the Conservatives will win the popular vote again. That will be interesting. Because, I don't know how much we have coming out of Alberta yet. I guess we do have a few. Okay, we do have a few results coming in. So we got results coming in all across the country, which is great. But yeah, look at this. Let's see some of these prairie ridings here. Let's see some of these prairie ridings. Zoom in on Edmonton. We'll check back in with Edmonton. And we are seeing, this is interesting, Edmonton Griesbach. We have the NDP leading. This guy friggin' sucks. God, I hate Kerry Diot. He's an awful, awful politician. So I hope he goes down in flames. Blake, you got my blessing. I would be surprised if the Conservatives win Edmonton Strathcona. Edmonton Strathcona is the most liberal place in all of Alberta. It contains White Avenue, which is like where it's very very it's like where the university is. So it's like super liberal, super like open. It's a great place. I really love White Avenue. So I would be very shocked if the Conservatives picked up a riding here. Edmonton Centre, as we talked about, the Conservatives may lose this to Randy. This is a creepy looking picture of Randy. Now that sorry, I just noticed Brock Croker here. I'm sorry, Brock. Dude, you look like a cave troll, man. This is brutal. Holy smokes. But yeah, so that's some of Edmonton for you. Down here in our sister city of Calgary, we can see that the Conservatives are doing very well. The Liberals may pick up one seat in the city, but I would be surprised. My boy Dick Canning's photo not available for some reason, even though he's been an MP for fucking 6 years. Don't have a photo of him. He's winning, so good on you, Dick. Elizabeth May, how's her riding doing? She is winning with one poll reporting so far. So now we can see that this is kind of flipped. We see that the Liberals are now losing in are now losing in 8 seats that they previously had, where the NDP are so far doing pretty good actually. We're at +7, so that I'm hoping, excuse me, that this trend will remain. But yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna, like I said, have there we go. They get just switches like that. Now they're at -4. Thankfully, Dippers are still at +7. Yeah. Yeah, I can't go in there to teach all the Quebec people English. Yeah, Justin Trudeau's here. Yeah, he's great. I figure he would be, at Liberal headquarters, doing his thing, but no, he's here. He's joining me, so I am pretty honored about that, to have Justin Trudeau on stream. So very good. The history of snap elections. The Prime Minister's party usually wins. It's true. They do actually usually win, but I mean, are we going to have I guess it's not necessarily a Theresa May syndrome, because she lost her majority when she did her snap election. But I think if your party loses seats there, Mr. Trudeau, I think you may be in for a leadership review. We will see. It's Edmonton. There's really sun. Yeah, I guess that's true. No, the Greens. The Greens had a lot of political infighting. Their leader, actually, I thought was very impressive at the leadership debates, but her party is basically imploding over Israel, and it's one of the greatest political dumpster fires to watch. But it's sad if you actually care about the Green Party and their policies. Yeah, exactly. Their goal was to get seats and get a majority, to not to win, the most amount of seats. Yeah, like I said, it is too early to tell if it's going to be a majority government. Right now, they are like it doesn't seem like we're having a huge amount of change in the actual seats. Going up to the vote share, we're still sitting around 36% for the Liberals, and a little bit of a dip for Liberals. Now they're below 36% to 35. So another thing to watch is if the Bloc is going to make any gains in Quebec. Right now, they are down by 4 seats. If again we go back to our previous election, we can see that the province of Quebec was very closely split between the Liberals and Conservatives. Excuse me, the Liberals and the Bloc Québécois. Right now, it looks like the Liberals may be gaining a few seats in Quebec. So that will certainly help their chances of a majority government, as they still need to get, I believe, 170 seats to form a majority government. So even if they do gain a few seats tonight, it still won't be enough to get them to the majority government. I think if they gain seats, at least Justin Trudeau might hold on to his leadership position. If they lose seats, like I said, I think he's in serious trouble. But we shall see. Oops. Wrong button. Sorry, guys. I mean, this is an amateur stream. I mean, if I don't know if you came here expecting professionalism, but what do you think this is? Chuck E. Cheese, man. I can't provide that level of professionalism. Yeah, Liberal NDP coalition is very possible. That's pretty much what the government was last time. And I thought the NDP were very generous in helping Justin Trudeau with his policy agenda. But he decided that apparently the NDP weren't generous enough and decided that he needed to call an election. So that'll probably be where he ends up being once again, is in a coalition with the NDP. Yeah, that's the main reason I don't want Justin Trudeau to win a majority tonight, is I do not want the internet censorship bill. I always forget which bill it is. They're both bad. Is it B? Someone will definitely tell me in the chat if it's C-17 or C-16. Basically, it's this overhaul to, it would definitely affect me personally, or probably affect me personally, because basically it's to clamp down on like Canadian YouTubers and make sure that they're doing, things by the Canadian Broadcasting Code. Basically, it's a recipe to crush independent streamers and content creators, and make it so only corporations can create content. But I don't think I don't know. I do think that even if it does pass, like I think that's pretty impossible to even implement something like that. But we will see. Seats to come 11. Yeah, I'm not thinking that it's going to be a majority. Like I said, going back to our last result, he won 157 seats, but that's still, fuck, math is hard. 13 seats short of majority? Yeah, 13 seats short of a majority. So he still has to make up a lot of ground in this election to actually gain his majority back. And it doesn't look like so far that's what's in the numbers we're seeing. No, this is not Chuck E. Cheese. I'm saying I cannot live up to that professionalism. Yeah, I don't know why left-leaning parties need to. I mean, it's basically they don't really need to spend a lot of time talking about Israel. Especially when there are a lot of issues facing us in our country right now. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, we're just sitting in here, we're just watching the polls come in. watching the results. Let's see what McLean's is doing over here. Still projecting a liberal government here. Can I don't know. I mean, this map kind of sucks. I mean, I'm very surprised they don't have the results for Michigan. It's very unfortunate. Man, they still have not called Fredericton. What is Oh yeah, look at this. This is brutal. Sitting here loading. Say what you want about CBC. At least they can afford a friggin' responsive election map. Let's see, what other one did I pull up? I was just looking at McLean's, which is still loading. Fuck. And I think I have global here. Global, yes, I do have global. Let's go to global's full results. Liberal government, they are calling it. They have slightly different numbers here. Let's see if their map is any better. Let's go to Fredericton. And now the servers are opening up a slightly smaller lead in Fredericton, according to Global News. Yeah, so they haven't called this one either. But oh man, this is not as smooth or responsive as I would like. Okay, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the CBC is just. It's the way to go. So let's see where we can get some interesting writings. Going back to Saanich. It's still only one poll reporting. I feel like some of these other, even though what do we got here in terms of actual leading and elected? Yeah, I mean, they're very similar numbers, but I feel like Global had more actual reporting. Let's go. Oh no, it's still only. No, it's still only like one poll reporting. Never mind. Yeah, only one poll reporting. Okay, we're still waiting on a lot of results here. We're still waiting on tons of results. Let's go see how things are doing in Edmonton. Wow, Khan defeats People's Party candidate. So here we go. Here's what I was talking about. 64% of the vote. And second party, People's Party of Canada. Now these are some rough. This is a rough looking group of people. I'm not gonna lie. This is not the best selection of human beings. Wow. I'm sure they're all incredibly nice people. But yeah, go. The Maverick Party, don't know much about these guys. But they gained 4% of the vote. That's surprising. But I mean, this is again a very, very conservative riding here. This is like all these rural ridings are going to be incredibly conservative. Let's see if we can get some Saskatchewanian results. 69%. Shannon O'Toole in second place with 13%. PPC candidate in third place with 9%. Let's go for another rural Saskatchewan riding. Cypress Grass Hills, 71% for the Conservatives. And we got some beauties here. Oh, look, the Liberals are in fifth place in this riding, 4%. They're getting beat out by Mark Skagen by the Maverick Party. The dude looks like he's like, I don't know, he looks like he's made of leather or something. And I don't know, this guy just looks like he is going to commit some sort of horrific felony. Let's see if we can go to some Medicine Hat, another conservative stronghold, 62%. I wonder if I can find, like, the CBC always has freaking maps that crash. But yeah, I want to see if I can find some, like, really blowout writings. Yeah. Green Party has 3 seats. So I think I'll go back. Wow, there's a lot of great things to respond to here. Okay, I thought this was a Walmart. Um, I can make a pizza. Like I can make damn good pizza. In fact, maybe one day I'll make a video of me making pizza. I stopped the correlation with the NDP because I didn't like the shade of orange they use. That definitely sounds like something Justin Trudeau would say. Alien versus Predator. Whoever wins, we lose. I don't know. I don't feel like if the PPC wins that anybody will win. I generally don't feel like if any of these parties will win, will do well. I'm not gonna lie. I think politics across the world is in really bad shape right now. I look at the leadership candidates we have everywhere, and I think, oh my god, we are friggin' screwed. So, I mean, honestly, it is all about choosing the best of the worst options at the end of the day. So, a second beer. I don't think I can do more than that. Free double double. You got my vote. I wish they would give out free double doubles. But yeah. The last election we had Indy win in. Someone asked about independents. Yes, independents can run and sometimes do win in Canada. In fact, we had an independent win, and we'll show our seat. Other here. This seat was Jody Wilson-Raybould, a former Justin Trudeau cabinet minister who basically turned on him and exposed some of his shady dealings. We can go into that conversation if you guys want. But yeah, basically she stepped down as MP. She's no longer in politics. So after leaving the Liberal Party, she ran as independent and won in 2019. But like I said, in this election, she has stepped down. She's not running. And we will see here, that's why it says -1 independent. That's her seat. And I wonder who it will go to. It'll be interesting to see. Oops. Yeah, I don't really know what the heck the Maverick Party is. The Veterans Party, don't know who they are either. Yeah, I mean, the Conservatives are worse than the Liberals, but at some point, it's like, that to me is like saying eating a sandwich with 2 pieces of shit is worse than eating a sandwich with 1 piece of shit in it. Yes, this technically may be true, but you're still eating shit, and you're not going to convince me that I'm not eating shit. So that's my feeling on the Liberal Party. And my feeling on the Democratic Party, too, to be quite honest. Yeah, I need a beer, too. IPAs are pretty good. They're very a mixed feeling. It's like, pineapple on pizza. Anytime you bring it up, you're bound to get a very passionate debate. It's like one of those issues that don't mean anything at all, but people get extremely passionate about. By the way, you're not supposed to have pineapple on pizza, and that is the final word, the only word that can ever be said on the subject. And if you say anything else, you are 100% wrong. So there you go. I dream of a day Alberta will vote Liberal. Yeah. It'll remain a dream, that's for sure. Shady dealings. Okay. Basically, the whole, I'm telling you the whole SNC-Lavalin story from memory. But basically what happened is that we have a company in Canada called SNC-Lavalin, specifically in Quebec. It's a construction company, and this construction company had dealings all over the world, and they had broken some sort of agreement. Basically, I can't remember if they were taking bribes in Libya or bribing Libyan officials to get construction contracts done. I'm sure someone will, excuse me, fill in some of the details for me. But long story short, there's this construction company. It's doing shady dealings in Libya. We have a law on the books, a law that the Liberals brought in that basically says if any company is, fined or I think it's if any company is found doing any type of illegal activity, we can no longer have this company do government contracts for us. So, SNC-Lavalin happens to be a very big and powerful company, particularly in Quebec, and they take a lot of government contracts. So, taking away that ability from SNC-Lavalin would be extremely detrimental to them. They threatened basically that if the government did this and took away their contracts, that they would move to another country and blah blah blah. So long story short, Jody Wilson-Raybould, who was Jody Wilson-Raybould, who was the Justice Minister at the time, I believe, basically said we should charge these people. We shouldn't let them get off with a lesser fine. We should go through with what the law is. Justin Trudeau didn't want to do that because he worried that it would impact the economy of Quebec and, that he'd lose jobs in his riding. Jody Wilson-Raybould, in fact, recorded a conversation she had about this and released it to the Canadian public. And we could basically hear what was going on behind the scenes. So, and long story short, it basically cost her position. They kicked her out of the Liberal Party. And eventually now she's been kicked out of politics. So honestly, I think it was very courageous for what she did. And it cost her political career, but apparently she has a book coming out right now, so maybe it won't cost her career entirely. So that is the best summation I can give of the SNC-Lavalin scandal. But yeah, the Canadian Constitution has been definitely a run roughshod in this pandemic, unfortunately. But actually, Quebec Party was the majority. Yeah, they could. Yeah, that would be funny. They should run candidates all across Canada just for shits and giggles, and it would be hilarious if they won seats like. They ran on like a platform like that they're gonna rename Canada to like Quebec and Friends and stuff like that. That would be amazing. But anyway, I want a gun-free healthcare, less racism. French and English First Nations can hold hand. Also, tea is better than coffee in my party. I pretty much agree with most of that, except for the tea part. I'm a big coffee guy. Love my coffee. In your opinion, who ought to be Prime Minister? I'm from California, but I love Canadian politics. I support Jagmeet for Prime Minister. If I could raise Jack Layton from the dead and put him in, like have zombie Jack Layton run the country, that would be my ideal Prime Minister. But unfortunately, we can't do that. So we have to make do with the choices that we have. Quebec and Friends is like a great country name. Yeah, that would be actually a pretty funny country name. Oh man, we're having a rough go of it in the comments, so we'll see if we have any other results we can tap into here. Let's zoom up. Wow, we already are having the popular vote tightening up here. As we can see, the Liberals and Conservatives now are almost equal in terms of the popular vote. Yet unfortunately for the Conservatives, they are still behind by a considerable number of seats. Right now, the Liberals are on track and leading in 154 seats. This is 3 less than they won last time. So it's all up. I mean, at this rate, this is what we're going to see happen is just a return to the status quo. A bunch of money and time spent just so we could all get back to where we were. let's see some beautiful Alberta. Well, let's look at some Alberta writings. Well, I can't. I'm not going to reveal which one of these ridings I live in, but it is one which is already elected a blue candidate. So there goes my hopes of living under an MP who isn't blue. NDP maintains Edmonton Strathcona, just as I thought. I thought it would be very unlikely that the Conservatives would gain this riding, and right now Heather McPherson who is leading considerably. In Edmonton Griesbach, thankfully the NDP are still leading, but it looks like it might be a little bit, doesn't look like they may maintain their lead. I would really like it if the NDP flipped this riding. Another riding we're watching is James Cumming riding. He's coming in with a considerable lead so far. This is another swing riding. This may flip to the Liberals, but as I said, right now Cummings is in the lead. Any movement in Calgary? We do have a couple close ridings here. As you can tell, Calgary Skyview has a high Indo-Canadian population. And I wonder who. I think Edmonton Mill Woods was already decided. Look at this, 72% in Battleview Crawford or Battle River Crowford. That. Like I said, that's a big number. That's a huge. I don't know why you haven't called Mike Lake's riding. Dude, this guy looks friggin' boss. Hugo Charles. How can you not vote for this guy based on his name and look alone? Yeah, and I said the Liberals are barely beating the People's Party of Canada in a lot of these ridings. Yes, sorry. I want to see Edmonton Mill Woods. I want to see if Tim Uppal is going to retain his seat. Yeah, it looks like Tim Uppal is probably going to retain his seat. See if we've let's go back to see if we've got any good, interesting ridings here. Fredericton, still very, very close. That could go Conservative. Moving up to Newfoundland, still very close riding here. They have not called that yet. Let's go look at the Montreal. Let's go look at some of our urban centers here. Urban centers always do very well for Liberals, and this is part of the reason why they do so well. Their vote is much more efficient than the Conservatives because there's a lot more ridings in the urban core. Looks like the NDP have at least maintained one Quebec New Democrat. It looks like they may. Looks like they may gain another one. That would be very nice. Okay, he was incumbent here. Go moving to the downtown core. Let's see the downtown core. Unfortunately, it looks like the NDP will look like they may be leading in a couple areas. I mean, we still have, we still have a lot of polls to close here, but we do have a couple tight ridings in the downtown core. Again, God damn it, why do you keep crashing on me? God damn you, CBC. Now I can't even see the colors. Disaster. Here I was praising them for their good map, but now we can't even see who is winning. So, well, I mean, we can, but, it's not easy. You're inconveniencing me slightly. And if there's anything most people don't like, it's to be inconvenienced slightly. Sorry, it's freaking hot in this room, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sweating a little bit. How would I compare Conservatives to American Republicans? Well, I was talking about this on the Discord recently. I think that basically the South in general really draws America further to the right than a lot of Western countries. And I feel like if without the kind of like a Southern influence in the Republican Party, they would be like our conservatives who are still lean socially conservative. They're still fiscally conservative, but by and large, they don't really touch things like abortion, and they support things like universal health care. Like I said, they're definitely different from the Republican Party of America. They may agree on a few things, but particularly when Trump was president, the Conservatives Party here would take every opportunity they could to distance him from his brand of politics. So they're definitely not the same. That doesn't mean that they're great or that I'd vote for them or that I support them, but I can recognize that they're not the Republican Party and they're not as bad as the Republican Party. Stereotypical Discord mods. Hey, I don't know what some of my Discord mods look like, to be honest. So actually, I don't think we know what any of them look like. But let's see if we can get some other good comments here. I mean, Harper, like I also talked about, like, I think the Harper hate is a little bit overdrawn. I mean, I hated him a lot, but the thing is that now that we have Justin Trudeau, he still has a lot of the shit that I hate about Harper. Like, a lot of he's not a very transparent government. He's got this whole thing where he thinks he's better than everybody else and won't accept anybody else's opinion. Like, it's, especially in particular about transparency. Like, I had a lot of hope for Justin Trudeau's government that it would be transparent, particularly in comparison to Harper's when he won. But nope, that definitely did not happen at all. I mean, yeah, he did. Like, I can see the Harper hate for sure. But if I were to do like a prime ministerial tier list, I'd probably put him at like the bottom of C tier. I don't think he's like a D tier or F tier prime minister. Okay, all his disaffected conservatives. Aaron may have made a mistake. Yeah, I think we'll see. We'll see. It all depends if he actually ends up getting a majority tonight. I don't know if we'll know for sure if they will. Really? You weren't expecting a seat con rep? Yeah, I've always known that. Well, the Edmonton Mill Woods is a very highly Indo-Canadian population. And Indians actually can definitely be a lot more conservative than people think. They can also be, very liberal as well. But yeah, they I think of like all the ethnic groups, I would say the Indians are probably the most likely to vote conservative. But I could be wrong about that. Yeah, even if they pick up a few seats, yeah, it's definitely not a vote of confidence in Justin Trudeau's handling of the pandemic if he doesn't get a majority, for sure. So yeah, the New Democratic Party is basically the left-leaning party of Canada. They're the Social Democratic Party of Canada, so they run to the left of the Liberals. Yeah, urban areas have more lose if cons win. Overwhelming Jeb victory. Yeah, you like to see another nation's election without stressing out. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not stressing out either. If it looked like Justin may be closer to a majority, I might be stressing out a little bit more, but I don't think he's going to get that tonight. Oh no, Max and Bernie went down his own writing again, twice in a row. Sad day for him. Can we please get a tier list? That would be hilarious. Maybe. That definitely could happen for sure. How much is Justin's term from his father's? Yeah, you definitely can't realistically compare them, but I won't lie, I respected Justin Trudeau's father a lot. I thought he was one of our best prime ministers. I know a lot of people don't like him. He was a very divisive prime minister, and I can understand that. But I don't know if I put him in A tier on my tier list, but he's definitely high B tier, and you can argue A tier, prime minister wise. Justin, I mean, he's hanging in. He's like just above Harper on my list. He's like slightly better than him because he got weed legalized. that's about it. Let's see, now that we've got our colors back, let's zoom in on Toronto. We can see a little bit more of our urban core here. Let's see if our green boy is still doing. Mike Maurice shading it up, still leading by a slight bit. If anything, I really hope Mike pulls through tonight. I'll be very happy if Mike wins, because this is my favorite picture of the election for sure. Well, we've got Hamilton. Okay, yeah, I think Hamilton is a pretty strong NDP area. So we're tightening once again with more results pouring in. The Conservatives have now overtaken the Liberals in terms of the popular vote. And it does look like that the Liberals will lose the popular vote again in a consecutive election. I especially don't think if they lose the popular vote again, that's not going to look good for their mandate. But we'll see. The night is still young, and it's still a close result. But these numbers have been shifting for the Conservatives pretty much all night. It's not a good result for the NDP, by the way. Unfortunately, this is not. 16.6% is not what I was hoping to see from the party. Going to the People's Party, we're at 5%, so about double their last result, but not enough for them to gain a seat. So yeah, do we have a percentage of votes coming in? Like, we've already got the Conservatives elected in a considerable number of seats here. They've actually got more elected seats than the Liberals, but that's because they probably called all these Albertan and Saskatchewanian seats very, very quickly. As you can see, a lot of the BC ridings are still yet to be called. Whoops. And none of it. The MP at large, I thought we had, I guess the MP at large retired for none of it. I expect the NDP to win in that riding. Looks like the Liberals will maintain Northwest Territories. And the Yukon, it may be an NDP pickup. There's no incumbent MP in the Yukon, so not like those will matter too much. But all these three territories get one MP apiece, so they get some representation. Let's go see what's going on in BC. If we've got any more results here. Elizabeth May is still leading comfortably with a little bit more reporting in her riding. When it comes to the rest of the west of Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island is a strong NDP territory, and it looks like they are retaining that as well. Looking into Vancouver, you'll see, so basically these parts of Vancouver are all the liberal parts are the wealthy parts of Vancouver, and all the NDP parts are the poorer parts of Vancouver. So liberals always do well in the wealthy Vancouver core, and that of course doesn't seem to have changed very much. Oh no, my boy's down. Dick's down. It's not good. In my old riding of South Okanagan, West Kootenay, I do still expect he'll retain the riding, but that does not fill me with a lot of hope. We finally have a BC riding declared. Vancouver East, one of the most liberal, I was going to say liberal. No, Vancouver West is the one I'm thinking of. Oh, they don't have Vancouver West. Oh, that's a fucking... Here it is. Yeah, it's a Vancouver West. I thought it was one of the most liberal ridings in the country. But no, Vancouver East, I would say the poorest part of Vancouver, solidly New Democratic. And it looks like that is the first riding in British Columbia to be declared. Let's look at Saskatchewan a little bit. We've kind of neglected Saskatchewan. Just going to the 2019 results, the Saskatchewan was shut out completely by the Conservatives. They won every single seat in the province. So let's see if we have any changes tonight. It looks like by and large, the Conservatives have maintained Saskatchewan as their playground. Let's see how things are going in Saskatoon. If the NDP are going to win in any of these ridings, it's going to be in Saskatoon. They're only losing by 7 votes. So this is definitely a close riding here. What about Saskatoon University? No, that looks like the Conservatives are going to hold on to that one. And Saskatoon Grasswood also looks like the Conservatives will hold. In the north, I'm surprised that the Conservatives are doing so well. Usually in a lot of these northern ridings, the NDP, holy smokes. Look at this guy. Oh my God. Nasser-Dean Shalafu. That is a beautiful name, I won't lie. Nasser-Dean Shalafu, you are a beauty. We got some real beautiful green-looking candidates. I feel like he's staring into my soul. And we have Stephen King running as an independent. Stephen King is not garnering too many votes. But he can't even beat Nasser-Dean. That's one of the best parts. I mean, I'm trying not to roast these people too much because it's a lot to put yourself out there as a political candidate. But God, I'm sorry, it's fun. And I know people would roast the shit. People roast the shit out of me all the time anyway. So, Nikki Ashton, incumbent for the northern riding of Manitoba. I would be surprised if she lost this riding. She's been an MP for quite some time, and I think she is going to maintain that. Moving into Winnipeg and Manitoba in general, this was a split. Cons winning half the seats and the other half divided up by the Liberals and NDP. So looking at our current results, it seems like things are shaking out similarly to what they were. Incumbent New Democrat there looks like he'll hold on to a seat. Incumbent Liberal also looks like he'll hold on to his seat. Looks like Liberals may actually pick up a seat here. Currently, the Conservatives are down by about 500 votes. So that would be a nice one for the Liberals if they picked up. They might pick up one seat here. We shall see. So yeah, they're currently succeeding in 5 of them. So there is a potential pickup for them, but once again, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the night. The Conservatives now are leading a full point in the popular vote, which and like I said, I figured that was probably gonna what we've been seeing, that lead has been increasing for the Conservatives, and we just had another bump in their support. So it looks like, like I said, once again, the Conservatives will win the popular vote tonight. And moving on, let's see if Fredericton has been called yet. Conservatives still winning with most of the polls running out in that riding. There's no incumbent in this riding either, so it looks like Conservatives are still winning here. Back here, still have not called this. I guess they're not going to call this one tonight. Okay, CBC News just officially projects Liberal minority government. Okay, CBC has called it for the evening. They are calling it a Liberal minority government. That is very, very interesting. That's I mean, and that could be the wrap for the night. We'll stay around for I'll probably give you guys another half an hour. I can stay around for, and we'll see how things continue to shake up. But if that's what it is, I'm thinking, judging by these numbers and the results we have now, I don't see it changing too much. But let's go check out some other ones we have. Liberal minority is projected by Maclean's, and Global News also is still just projecting a Liberal government, but they have not said whether it will be a majority or minority. So while we have that news, let's read some of the chat and see what people are saying. Jeb, yeah, Jeb forever, man. Please clap for Jeb. Yeah, the Greens actually do. Looks like they haven't been officially elected. But yeah. Mike deserves a hands down. I really hope Mike gets it, man. It's true, there are lots of people have been saying mail-in ballots. Yep, that's probably why some of those close ones haven't been called yet. But like I've been telling people, the mail-in ballots have not made as big of a difference in our elections, at least in the provincial elections we've had, that they did in the American election in 2020. And I'm not expecting it to be a huge difference tonight, but we will see. Yeah, the Liberals have won, but they haven't. It looks like it literally going to win the exact same amount of seats that they came into this with. Yeah, the big blue bar. Surprised to see the MDP do better Conservatives in states over Liberals. Yeah, the provinces. The Greens have 2 seats, Liberal minority. Who am I going for? Like I said, I wish the NDP did better. I was hoping the NDP would do better tonight, but it looks like once again the status quo maintains. Please riot. Yeah, the Greens outside of Victoria is nice. Like I said, this what do we have? We're well into the night. The polls have been closed for 2 hours now across the country, and right now we only have 1 Liberal seat gained and 1 Conservative seat lost. We have some pretty nice gains by the New Democrats. Like I said, they are doing better tonight than they did in 2019. I mean, but I'm New Democratic Homer. I wish they would be doing even better than what they're doing now. It looks like the vote totals have tightened up a little bit. So the Liberals are still, but they're still losing in the popular vote. And like I said, that doesn't seem to. I don't think that's going to change throughout the night. So let's see how my boy Mike is doing. Mikey, I'm rooting for you. I really am. All right, Mikey, now still in the lead. Actually, he's doing really good. He's got 32%. So good for him. I do hope the NDP picks up this riding. That'll be nice, but it's still pretty close, so they can't call it yet. But yeah, it's crazy that it's such a status quo election is what I'm seeing today right now. And I like I said, I feel surprised. I would be surprised if there's some crazy swing somehow, if the mail-in ballots swing things. But the thing is, right, with they know how many mail-in ballots are sent out, so they know how many could potentially be coming back. So they're calling all of these ridings, knowing that even that there are probably mail-in ballots waiting to come in, there aren't enough of them to change the outcome of the election, which is why here we go in Halifax. We have another close riding, although this one is probably close enough to call. Sometimes it's very weird how they call some of these ridings. Like I said, Fredericton in here, very, very close. I don't think that we will see who wins tonight here. And some areas have called this riding for the Conservatives, but I guess we don't know yet. That one's another close one. We'll probably have to wait for some mail-in ballots before that one is called as well. But even if those two do end up going to the Liberals, it doesn't seem like they will have enough to actually maintain or gain a majority government. Let's go back to Alberta. We can see lovely, lovely blue everywhere, like we all expected. Although I do, like I said, I want to see some of our swing seats. Again, Edmonton Centre, one to watch out for. It looks like James Cumming might be coming a little bit because he's losing his lead slowly but surely. And I'm really hoping that we could flip this seat from the Conservatives because I hate Kerry Diot with a burning passion. He's one of my least favorite MPs and politicians in the country, so fuck that guy. Edmonton Manning. Edmonton Manning is definitely going to stay Conservative. Let's see if we can find this here. Fort McMurray, 64% Conservative, 61%, 67%. This is where their popular lead is coming from, everybody. 64%. Lakeland 68. 67. Medicine Hat 64. 61 or 71. Look at this guy. Jonathan Bridges, I actually do have to salute this beard. This is a pretty nice looking beard. Although Martin Shields, though, that mustache is just impossible to beat. That's why he's got 71. I really don't think all these votes are for Martin Shields. I think they're just for his fantastic mustache. Lethbridge, a little bit less conservative, but still pretty freaking conservative. And then of course we have our six. Yeah. So I believe there was one riding that was like crazy conservative blowout last time, like 90%. I'm trying to see if I can find anything like that right now. Let's do Grand Prairie Mackenzie. That's very freaking conservative. Peace River, nope. And then Yellowhead. Okay. Unfortunately, we're not having like the 90% North Korea blowouts that we were having last time. I guess that's what the PPC has prevented, but it's still running up that popular vote for the Conservatives for no gains whatsoever. Dick's back in the lead. Thank you, Dick. But it's still too close to call. There. What's this? Kootenai, Columbia. I'm surprised. This is also a pretty granola crunching hippy dippy area of BC. So I'm surprised that the the NDP don't do better in Kootenai, Columbia. But yeah, they're gonna win all these interior ones. New Democrats still holding on to the north up here, still holding on to North Island, and still crushing it in Vancouver Island as well. Alistair McGregor maintains his seat. Randall Garrison retains his seat. It looks like the NDP will still do well there. Like I said, it's getting tough to say anything, but it's status quo is here. Yep. Now the Liberals are now leading in the exact same amount of seats that they won last time. So I don't think that there is enough really to change the results tonight. Too much. I mean, where could the Liberals pick up enough seats to gain a majority? And like I said, I'm not seeing it. Especially if these popular votes maintain, or this popular vote count maintains, and the Conservatives are now leading by 1.5 points in the popular vote total. Let's close this for a sec. I want to see how much they won in 2019. Just out of curiosity. In 2019, they beat out the Liberals in the popular vote by approximately 200,000 votes, and beat them by approximately 1.2 percentage points. So the Conservatives are on track to actually beat that tonight. But once again, when we see these vote totals, vote totals, 6 million votes, we're not even close to having that many counted here tonight. Oh, now the Conservatives, Liberals they might actually gain 1 seat, everybody. They might gain a single seat. Just Trudeau, he may be safe. He may be safe. Okay, let's read the comments now. It would operate pretty much the same way it does now, with NDP support or maybe Bloc support. Yeah, well, the thing is here, that's a really good point there, Altro. The thing is here, in Canada, we have Elections Canada, which is a third-party organization, and they do all the drawing up of the ridings and districts. Whereas in America, my understanding is that basically redistricting processes are done by the parties themselves, and there's a lot of potential for what they call gerrymandering in the system, where Republicans or Democrats, although usually Republicans because they own most of the state legislatures, will redraw different districts in their advantage. Do I like Jagmeet as leader? I think he has grown a lot. I don't think he did well in 2019. I think he did better in this 2020 election. So no, we try to keep gerrymandering to a minimum because of Elections Canada. But yeah, so yeah, they'll probably work with most of the other parties. I think the NDP will hold new demands for Liberals. I hope that they do hold demands for the Liberals, especially if the Liberals held this election just to try and get rid of them as supporters of the coalition. I would definitely demand more. I would be like, you guys tried to get rid of us. You couldn't get rid of us. If you want our support this time, you're going to have to give us some major concessions. But yeah, I think Jagmeet has approved. I didn't vote for him in 2019, but I voted for him this time. And I think he has made a lot of strides. Unfortunately, like I said, there was a moment at the start of this election where I thought we could actually overtake the Liberals. But unfortunately, I don't think Jagmeet played his cards as well as he could have. So yeah, definitely over half of the country definitely over half of the country votes for left-leaning parties. Fucking hair. That is definitely the case. Gonna buy Back for Blood? Already bought Back for Blood, buddy. It's already purchased. Can you click on the Burlington PPC guy? He looks like a volcano insurance and seller. What the hell? Okay. Do they have a search function here? I think Burlington is in Ontario, right? It's in Brampton. Oh, fuck. Where the hell is Burlington? Oh, there it is. Oxford Burlington. Is it this guy here? This guy does definitely look like a volcano insurance salesman. What else do we have here? No, that's not that guy, but this guy definitely looks like a beauty. Oh no, here's Burlington itself. Never mind, it's right here. Sorry, it's along the south here. Yeah, look at that guy, Michael Badower. Oh man, what a beauty. Jesus Christ. 800 votes for Mike. Oh, this the dude below him looks like he's 12 years old. And then, unfortunately, Nick Page here, this guy looks like he's Merlin or something. These two ladies look, very stand up and presentable. But not so much for the rest of this group. That is pretty beautiful. Thank you for that tip. That is legendary. Bow battle, the battle of the beards. Why do I hate Kerry? He's just like one of those really annoying he used to have like a column in Edmonton, in the Edmonton Sun here. It's like a conservative leaning newspaper, and it was just always such trash. It was always like I don't know how this guy got a job writing articles, but they were always just very poorly written and like not well argued, and I don't know, he just always pissed me off. Yeah, Maxie, I'm sure is crying right now, but we're down the beards. Well, the Conservatives are down to -1 again. Yeah, it's just like calling a snap election for maybe one CDA. And what's the total? What's the total votes? 5 million. Our pop is 30. I don't know what the vote total is right now, and what we're going to see when it all shakes out. In terms of what our turnout is going to be. What was the turnout in the last election? 67%. Down 1.3 percentage points from 2015. If what we're seeing now is any indication, I think it'll probably be the same turnout, maybe a little bit less from 2019. Yeah, a good bit of these ridings aren't even half in, and it's true. There's still lots of votes to be counted, but you can usually make a pretty accurate assessment in these Canadian elections pretty quickly. It's not like American elections where things take forever and they're drawn out, and like I talked about earlier, super anxiety provoking. It's not like, oh man, the Democrats are winning. Oh, here come the Republicans. Oh, the Democrats are coming back. Oh, whoa. It's like you're sitting, like I mentioned my election story. Like I was in this room, like I don't know, I must have been maybe like 10 hours just staring at multiple screens, just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. But yeah. Really? Okay. I didn't know that they went to the Supreme Court to review disputes. Yes, their beard game is very weak. The NDP needs to pick up their beard game. Notre Dame, one poll is left, and it's Con. No, Liberals are back to winning a seat. Yeah, it's. I don't see how. I can't see this shaking out for the Liberals tonight, at least getting their majority government. If they gain a seat and lose even more in the popular vote, that will be shocking to me. It truly will be. Like lose even further in the popular vote. Yeah, I think we're kind of wrapping things up here. We've got a reason a lot of these elections are called, or writings are called, is because there's no way. Excuse me. Mike Gunther is gonna be able to make up 7,000 votes here and overtake Sophie and win this riding. So some of them, even though some of them do have. There are some ridings which aren't all the way in, haven't been called yet, so on and so forth. But they still project an elected incumbent or an elected winner because, like I said, there's just not enough votes there to overturn the election result. Is this a win? Nope. This is a Liberal hold. And Jean-Yves Duclos. There you go. I'm not even going to try and pronounce some of these names. But he is... he may lose his seat, but he's still doing well enough that he most likely will hold on. Yeah, I'm just trying to look and see some of these close ridings. Looks like... Oh, really? We don't have... Oh, here's their riding. So Maxime Bernier is defeated in his riding by a considerable margin. And Amy Paul is defeated in her riding by a very considerable margin. Well, it's not... The votes haven't come in yet. Like, we still got a lot of polls. But once again, a 50% lead, it's tough to overcome that. And Singh hasn't been elected in his own riding yet. That is surprising that he is not doing as well as I thought he would. Usually he does pretty well, but he did have to win. He is a parachute candidate, unfortunately, and that is one of the things I don't like about what they did with Jagmeet Singh, is where they parachuted him in from Ontario to basically run in a BC riding in Burnaby. And he's won it numerous times. But I would not. Oh my God, look at her. But yeah, I would be surprised if he still lost it. But still, like, this is not. If you're the leader of the National Party, this is not the kind of vote you want to see. So let's look at our boy Trudeau. 50% in his riding, right? Crushed it. Our boy Aaron O'Toole, almost 50%, crushed it. So that's the kind of numbers. Our boy Blanchet, did we already look at him? I can't remember. 53%, totally crushed it. So yeah, like, God, look at this smug bastard. God damn it. Anyway, let's go look at the chat again. Let's see how things are going. We'll go back up to our non-existent map. Okay, here we go. Just kind of leave that there so we can get a bigger picture. The best beard should win. In the 28th section, we had glitch out and gave the GOP a 75% chance of holding their majority well into absolute meltdown outline. What a goof Maxine. Mad Max has become Sad Max. Aw, Sad Max is sad. A lot of Southern Quebec ridings are very close. Let's go check out some of those Southern... Oh, a parachute candidate is like when somebody is brought from another area of the country, like that's not their home, and then put into a different area. So he was taken from Ontario and parachuted into British Columbia. And yeah, I would be shocked if Amy stays on as leader after this disastrous result for her, not even coming close in her riding. I mean, there's still a lot of polls to be reported, but yeah, it's not looking good for her. That's for sure. Back up here. Yeah, now the Conservatives have increased their popular vote lead to almost 2%. The Bloc here at 8%. At least the New Democrats are picking up steam a little bit, moving up to 17%. What did they get? 18%? Okay, no. So they actually are beating their last result, where they got just 16% of the vote. This is not a very flattering picture of Mr. Singh. Definitely have given him a lot better photography in this election. So, yeah, the NDP are doing better. We've got about a percentage point increase from our last election, which is not, again, it's not very much. The People's Party has about doubled their vote from like 2.5% to 5%. This is a complete implosion of the Green Party. Total implosion, 2.2%. That's pathetic. That's sad. What did they get last time? Almost 7% of the vote. Whereas it was old Sad Max who got 1.6% of the vote. They're on track to get the same percentage of the vote as the PPC at this point in 2019. And yeah, it's pathetic. Let's see how things are going over here. Sandwich Gulf Islands. I'd be surprised if Elizabeth May does not maintain her seat, but we will see. Okay, I was going to be like, wow, this is a surprisingly close riding, but Nanaimo is the most conservative part of Vancouver Island, so if any riding is going to go for the New Democrats, it's going to be this one. Or sorry, going for the Conservatives, it will be this one, although surprisingly, Paul Manley was the Green Party was the incumbent MP there, but like I said, a very like relatively speaking, the most conservative part of Vancouver Island is Nanaimo. Let's go over here. It looked like the Liberals were on track to pick up this seat, although it is very, very close. Now the Conservatives are in the lead, but only by 62 votes. Let's go to those Southern Quebec ridings that we were talking about. I said I'd go visit earlier. They said are very close. Like, Libs lead the Bloc Québécois by a handful of votes. What do we have here? Fairly close again, although they're leading by 420 votes. I'll just freeze that one. Although, yeah, down here they're doing pretty well. But in some of these areas, like, yeah, Bloc blows them out. Libs are blowing out here. Well, yeah, this one, though, I guess it's probably the right call, but at the same time, I feel like with 70%, with 70 polls reporting, still declaring her as elected may be a little bit premature. So I don't know. I'm not seeing a whole ton of really like. Here's a close riding here. No incumbent MP, which is probably why it's so close. Real knife battle between the bloc and the Conservatives here. Oh, it looks like the NDP are still holding on to this riding, but or not. Sorry, they might gain this riding, but it's close. It's quite close. Fredericton, the Liberals have squeezed back into the lead with 136 votes, with only 14 polls remaining. This is a really close battle. It is interesting to see how the floor crossing for Atwin has really hurt her chances. Like I said, she won as a Green MP in the last election, but then moved to the Liberal Party, and she may lose her seat. It's very, very close here. Here's another one. Yeah, the Conservatives will probably pull that one out. The Liberals will probably pull that one out. Again, no movement here. Yeah, I think that they're just gonna hold on to that. Hold on to calling that one for quite some time. So yeah, we're kind of wrapping it up here. Let's go see if we can see how things are in BC. I did want to see if my boy Dix he's coming back in. So I think he's slowly gaining steam. They've already called a lot of these other interior ridings for the Conservatives. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, of course, Kelowna is going to be conservative. Okanagan, Shuswap, very conservative area. Not as conservative as like rural Alberta, but you know, a lot of these areas are still, like I said, extremely, extremely conservative. So Tim Uppel actually is. They still haven't declared him the winner in Edmonton Millwoods, though. Like I said, he'll probably maintain his riding. Edmonton Centre still extremely close. And Edmonton Griesbach, NDP still winning, thankfully. And hopefully they will manage to win in that riding, but we will see. Oh, what's this? Do we have a Liberal-leaning seat in Calgary? We do. This is interesting. Wow, looks like George Tahal has managed to open up a little bit of a lead here in Calgary Skyview. This is the only seat that would potentially move to the Liberals in Calgary, but they still have over 100, or actually just over 100 polls left to report for that riding, so it could go either way. Going back to Edmonton to Saskatoon, this is another close battle. I was hoping that Robert Doucette could win a seat win the NDP a seat in Saskatchewan. As I said before, the Conservatives shut out Saskatchewan in 2019, but unfortunately, it looks like as time has gone on, the Conservatives have managed to increase their lead, but there is still just about 69 polls left to report. And the territories, this one may flip, but it doesn't look like it. I was hoping the Yukon may flip to the NDP, but it looks like the Liberals will retain their seat. Hopefully the NDP will retain none of it. It looks like that they will do very well in none of it as well. And then Thunder Bay. Okay. Liberal incumbents in Thunder Bay. Patty Hayju. I'm thinking she's going to hold on to her seat. I mean, look at this. Yeah, just almost no change whatsoever. Very few changes. And going back here now, the Conservatives have achieved a 2% lead in the popular vote. Best facial hair should win. Yeah, I know. My hair's like getting crazy. But yeah, so all this time, all this effort, all this like political punditry, just for nothing to change. Just, I don't know. Big waste of time is what is it's seeming like. Just a big friggin' waste of time. Robert just said should win because of his stash, man. He does have an excellent stash. Where do I think the X Greens went to? I'm hoping that they went NDP, but they probably split evenly between NDP and Liberals, I think. The Green Party leader basically said you should vote Liberal at one point. So, but whether or not her base actually listened to her is a very different question. Yeah, I don't like parachuting either. I think it's a bad idea. I wonder if the Bloc has won an election outside Quebec. No, they can't. They don't run candidates outside Quebec. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Jagmeet will probably hold on as leader after this election. But we'll see. I would be surprised if they turfed him. I'd say he's got probably one more election to see if he can make a breakthrough. And if not, they might change the leader. Quebec has a liberal turnout when the Bloc doesn't win. No, the thing about the thing about Quebec is that they're actually they're a big time swing province, and that's one thing I really respect about the Quebec people is that they will actually change their vote, and they do change their vote. They've in my lifetime, they've voted everything. I even think they voted conservative kind of back in the Harper days. At least they had some conservatives in the government, and they voted NDP, they voted Bloc, they voted Liberal. So they'll change their votes very frequently, and it makes politicians actually compete for the province. I wish people here in Alberta would learn to change your friggin' votes, because nobody ever comes here and nobody cares because they know you're going to vote conservative anyway. Gotta ask an American if Quebec wasn't a nationalist and actually voted for any party, which would they vote? Like I just said, they are notorious for switching their votes. So, and again, I think that they should. Yeah, what a pointless election. All of this just to waste everybody's time. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I thought there might be some momentum. It did feel like there was going to be some conservative momentum at the start of the campaign, but that kind of dulled out. And, it just ended up being the status quo. Yeah, just... And that's kind of like my my political... The way I make political predictions is kind of based off momentum, where if I think that there is momentum for a particular party going into an election day, a lot of the time you actually will see that momentum increase and explode on election day. But if you don't feel that momentum coming in, it's going to be the status quo. And like I said, I thought there was going to be some of that momentum for the Conservatives, but they didn't play their cards right, and it ended up being the status quo. Yeah, like COVID had like no effect on this election. It's like just not any deal whatsoever. Yeah. I can't see at this point the Liberals gaining a minority or a majority government. I think it's pretty confident. It seems like everybody's made the minority call. So yeah, I think we can pretty much wrap it up there. I think, unless we got anything people want to say, so maybe I'll stick around for another 5 minutes or so, and I'll answer some questions and we'll talk a little bit. But yeah, I think we've had enough time where we can comfortably see the results of this election, and that it was all a big waste of time. So yeah. So, will the next election occur in 2023 or be a snap election? That is dependent on which will be Prime Minister Trudeau, who will probably continue, will continue as the prime minister in the future. So basically, if he wants to, he could have another election in 18, 2 years, or 18 months, 2 years, whatever he feels like doing, he will do for sure. And he even he didn't really directly say it, but he kind of threatened it a little bit in one of the French leadership debates, where basically he said that if you don't give me my majority, we could be here in another 18 months, who knows? Whoa, crazy thing. Um, so, yeah, basically, if, if he doesn't call a snap election, he's got until 2023 with this mandate. However, he could call an election whenever he would, whenever he would want. So good for him. And I honestly I would laugh if he does another election in 2 years. It'd be so funny. He gets the same result, still get frozen at 157 seats. Never get past that number. It'll be the number for the rest of his life. I mean, I'm sure the media news class in this country is very pro-liberal. There's no question about it. And I'm sure that they're sad that Justin didn't get a majority tonight. I haven't been watching any of the results as they come in on any of the mainstream platforms out there. I'll see how things kind of shake out tomorrow. And I didn't vote NDP in 2019 election. Like I said, Jagmeet hadn't wowed me over to his camp yet, so I voted for a independent party. So I still always vote, but if there's a time when I don't feel like voting any of the major parties, I'll go in there. I usually will vote like Marxist-Leninist or something like that, just to make sure. Like I always vote, but even if I don't like any of the major parties, I'll just do a throwaway vote or something. Yeah. Yeah, the 2 year stream, 2 year stream from today where the exact same results, and it's like fucking Groundhog Day or something. As myself as a European, the Democratic Party of the U.S. is conservative, and even conservatives in America are considered far right. It's kind of similar here in Canada, where our Conservative Party is the Canadian Conservatives and Republicans could probably agree upon a lot of economic issues and a few social issues, but not very many. But yeah, on the whole economics front, they could definitely have a lot that they could get together about. But there's no question that our Conservative Party is to the left of the Republican Party in America. I definitely don't think that they're to the left of the Democratic Party because of their fiscal conservative nature, but we will see. We will see. We know. We already know. Anyway. Yeah, just one Seinfeld election after another. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Sly as Fox. So yeah, I think that's going to be where we call the election stream for tonight. We'll do a little bit of a wrap up here, but yeah, it was fun to do something like this. I enjoyed it, and if you guys enjoyed it, I'm definitely happy to do another political stream. This has actually been the first political content I've done since coming back, and I actually really enjoyed this format because it kind of just lets me talk overall. just sit here and talk and ramble on about politics. And I was hoping that maybe we would have we would have some really dramatic swings and stuff like that. But when we looked at the polls here, we basically saw it was probably going to be a pretty normal election, or a pretty uneventful election. And yeah, lib majority. What did has Global finally called it? They still are calling it a liberal government. They haven't caved and are declaring it a majority yet. Or minority yet. But I don't see how I just don't see how they can get a majority with what the numbers we're seeing right now. So yeah, I think, like I said, this would be a pretty decent spot to end it. Oh, looks like they might gain one seat. Woo, yeah, woo. Spent, millions of dollars in an election to gain one seat. Fucking goof. God damn them. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Expect a 12 a.m. wake up call if something drastically changes. I don't think that this is, like I said, going to be like an American election where, I went to sleep basically with me thinking that Trump was going to win, and then I woke up with Biden overtaking him. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen where, I wake up and all of a sudden there's a liberal majority. Because, yeah, like I said, we can see how things are shaking out. Like they would have to probably, how many, so they would have to, the conservatives would pretty much have to lose. Yeah, there's no way. So they're leading in 15 seats, and even if the conservatives lost all those 15 seats that they were leading in, and they all went to the liberals, well, I guess then again, there's a bunch of other seats here. They could flip between the liberals and conservatives. Maybe some really left-leaning seats are New Democrat and liberal, fighting against each other for the riding. But, ultimately, I just don't see it in the numbers here. Even if the conservatives, there they go, they just picked up another seat. Okay, there's one seat here. One of them must be very, very close. That's flipping back and forth between the conservatives and liberals. But like I said, even if we can go over, yeah, I just can't see it happening. Dick Canning's opening up his lead. Man, this is closer than I like for old Dick. I was really hoping he'd do very well again in his riding. Looks like the NDP have managed to overtake the conservatives in Nanaimo. And they still haven't called Elizabeth May's seat yet. I'm surprised. Before we go, we got to check on our boy Mike. Let's see how Mike's doing. Come on, Mike. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, he's still winning. Come on, Mike. He could pull through. This would be the greatest. This is the greatest election story of tonight. Whether Mike Maurice will win Kitchener Center. There's not much time left, and I think he's winning by just as much as when we last checked in. He's beating the Conservatives by 2,000 votes. That's not an easy margin to overcome. So I wish you the best of the best of luck tonight there, Mike. You're gonna need it. Looks like Jessica may retain her seat. She's managed to open up a 1% lead over the Conservative candidate, and I'm sure she's sweating right now. But yeah, like I said, there's just no way. I just cannot see it. All right, well, let's wrap up with. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely happy to do another election stream. Who was Canada's worst prime minister and why? Yeah, Joe Clark was pretty bad. I mean, the jokes about him are hilarious. But man, I think if you've got to choose a worst prime minister, I don't know. I mean, I think William Lloyd Mackenzie King is not good, even though he was the prime minister that led us through World War II, and actually our longest serving prime minister. The dude was just a weirdo, man, a super weirdo. Just he'd hold seances and try and talk with dead prime ministers. He supposedly looked to his dog to give him advice on how to run the country. When he met Hitler, he wrote that Hitler has soft skin and shining eyes, which makes me think that he will be a trustworthy man. This is what he wrote in his diary or something like that. And my personal favorite story about William Lloyd Mackenzie King is a story that he bought up all the land around his residence for the express purpose of making sure that no Jewish people could move in close to him. So I guess he's pretty bad. Like he gets a lot of credit because he was prime minister during World War II. He, yeah, prime minister during World War II. He fucking you know, led the country for a long, long time. But yeah, dude was a weirdo. There's no question about it. But other than him, I'll have to put Brian Mulroney probably up there too as one of our worst prime ministers. Although I do like him because he pretty much destroyed the Conservative Party for maybe a couple decades at least. Kim Campbell was bad, yeah. Kim Campbell, I guess the successor to Brian Mulroney is pretty bad. But yeah, he was, yeah. Anyway, but Brian Mulroney was the reason why the Conservatives really lost, got their asses handed to them. And that election is a weird election because it actually made the Bloc the official opposition, which is definitely a weird state of affairs. But yeah, let's see if there's any real big changes here. Let's see if the NDP managed to squeak anything out in the downtown core. We may squeak out a seat in Davenport, but all in all, you know, well, actually, a lot of these polls have not. Yeah, there's still a lot of room in some of these downtown ridings, but yeah, very, very heavily liberal area. My boy Mike still doing well. Okay, I gotta stop clicking around here, guys. Yeah, it's getting 10 o'clock. I gotta work in the morning, so yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll definitely do another political stream in the future. Let's see. Oh, girl, Prime Minister. Yeah, Kim Campbell. Yeah, exactly. It was very lucky for him he was out of power when the depression was bad. No. What happened is that the guy, Brian Mulroney, resigned and she won the leadership election. And then an election was called 3 months later. So she only had, get appointed. She gets appointed head of election. So, yeah, sad day for her. Poor Kim Campbell. Anyway, guys, we'll remember the death of Kim Campbell as our last message of the night. It was an enjoyable time, even though it was a big waste of pretty much everybody's time. So, with that, we see the most useless Canadian election of all time pretty much come to a close. Like I said, hopefully we don't see any major changes because then I'll feel kind of stupid. But all in all, a good time. It was a good time to get to talk about Canadian politics and get to maybe share some of my knowledge on the subject with everyone out there. So until next time, yeah, you guys take care.